we said before, was 17 at the time. He was with a reporter. He immediately goes into his testimony and says that they arrived, what was it, the night of the 11th?
They were there on the 11th,
the
closer
night
to
of
the
the
evening.
11th, and when they drove in, they were immediately in fear because they saw a couple, 5 to 6 men with long guns, on their bodies, and so they decided not to go that way, and they were immediately in fear of their lives, just showing up at the rally. Then they said they go over to the stage where there's maybe 50 to 60 people, and they're milling around talking to people over there. They decided to go home and come back the next day because many of the people were gone. They then return at 7:30 the next morning to say that there's many more people, they're even more fear of their life, because there's more legally, operating humans with guns at the site. Nobody was pointing any weapons. He went into that on a couple times. And then we go right into them producing these images of video. And I find it interesting that they cut them all up. We're going 51, 52, 53. Okay, that seems right. Then we go 64, 70, 71, 72. Well,
these are exhibit numbers.
In between those video exhibit numbers is the video where the lady comes up to the North Brown Bridge and says, you guys, they need help down in the wash. There's BLM agents pointing weapons. That video they did not show. But the gentleman did ask why they went from the other side of the road to this side, and that's what he said. There was a lady that came and said that they needed help because there was BLM agents pointing guns at the protesters.
And that was at the 11th?
No, this is the 12th.
This is the morning of the 12th, yes.
Andrea, did they by any chance say why they returned on the 12th if they were so afraid on the 11th?
No, that was never asked.
Okay.
But we haven't gotten to cross-examine yet either. They did say that the protesters were shouting, your court order does not apply here, that the horsemen showed up and then the group rallied behind them. Here we go again, we go 78, 79, 80, we show those. In that video, he does say to the kid, Alex, he says, write down if you can understand what they're saying on the loudspeakers. And then he was asked, well, what was it that you wrote down? And he said, the crowd needs to disperse, and they had been authorized to use up to lethal force.
Good.
So that also made it in, so that was something good. I don't know if they were he accidentally said that, if that wasn't supposed to be put in there. They did go into a lot of recognizing people on the screens. I believe they pointed out Ryan Payne a few times. They pointed out Pete Santilli. They pointed out
They pointed out Michael McGuire.
So there was lots of that going on during the videos as well. And that's pretty much where we left off at the end of the night, right?
This gentleman's testimony was interesting because the video from Michael Flynn, the government, if you've read any of the filings, has gone to great lengths to exclude or preclude what they call prejudicial information. Mm-hmm. The person recording this film was very panicked about the situation and saying, well, we have a bunch of people with guns and the law enforcement is scared. This is a bad combination. It's an argument contrary to fact from his frame of reference. He has no idea what state of mind anybody is in, but through this video he's making that judgment. And defense attorneys were very quick to jump on top of that, but of course it's overruled. So this deceased photographer's video where he's making his own commentary and making judgments that can't be substantiated, he can't be cross-examined, there can be no way for these defendants to talk to this person and ask what their state of mind is or why he felt the way that he did, and yet it's admissible as evidence. So on the one hand we have that issue, but on the other hand, as Andrea said, the kid did verify that the BLM said we were authorized to use up to lethal force. Okay. He did verify that a woman ran across the highway to the group of protesters that were in the northbound lane, and she said, hey, the BLM is pointing weapons at protesters. So we did get an independent verification of that. So it was kind of a good and a bad thing, but that was where this gentleman's testimony more or less left off. They'll have some more video clips for him tomorrow.